Hello, this is Steve from Object River, and this is part 2 of our Angular WebSocket video series. Today we're going to be talking about doing callbacks back into an Angular application. At the end of our first video, we showed that we regenerated the metadata from REST to a WebSocket metadata. And this regeneration also included this callback include, which you see right here. So we typically, when we regenerate it, we generate a dummy kind of metadata that's commented out. So I'm going to uncomment this. And this is an asynchronous method called display message. And we're going to change this string to a bean called stuff. And stuff is defined right over here in the metadata. And it's a long string, another being, date, timestamp, etc. So here we're now defined this callback, which will go back into Angular. We're going to create another configuration to regenerate this down into the Angular layer. And we're going to call this Angular callback. And we're going to say this is WebSocket metadata. We're going to pick the Angular callback. I'm going to change the metadata to this WebSocket. And you can see it's going to generate back into the Angular source directory. And then we're going to regenerate by running the compiler. One other thing I wanted to mention, you can see that this callback is an async method. In Java, we're suggesting you always use asyncs in your callback because our Java implementation is a synchronous implementation using a note waitify Java architecture. So from Java servers, we want async callbacks. From Node, you can use synchronous callbacks. Now that we've regenerated our Angular client with the callback method defined, we need to go to the implementation of the method. So here we'll go to App, Modules, Callback, Impl, and here's the callback method that got generated. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to print the stuff bean defined in the message variable to the console. So now we'll go to our terminal and we'll build the system with ng-build. Okay, that built. So now let's bring up our Angular server. Okay, now the Angular server is running. We can go to, let me bring over the application. Okay, drag my application back over here. Now, in the server videos, you're going to see that we put the callback in this method right here, set bean list. So it's this method that's going to do the display message callback. So let's execute that. We execute it. You don't want some input. We give it some input. Now we have some input. We do the send. It replied. Now remember, we put a console message in there. So let's open the debugger. So we open the debugger here. Straighten that out a little. And if we look back up here, you can see it came back into the callback service. And this is the impl. And there is the message right there. He's displaying, is actually displaying what we sent in, where the implementation on the server just responded with a random stuff being list. But so there's the callback, it came back in. So that's it for our Angular callback video. We got 2 more videos behind this, is a Java server callback, a Node TypeScript server callback, and that will complete the WebSocket series. Like this video, share the video, and you can even subscribe if you'd like. Thanks a lot.